I really wish that Waterstones would stop sticking stickers on my books. I have the I can't speak today. And she's then convinced that it has... I can't tell you that. Stay now, oh, don't leave me alone like this. Don't think that's the final kiss. Won't you stay another day? I'm sure Simon Cowell will be in touch soon. And last but not least, on the ghosts. The ghosts, I keep saying ghosts. Hello, I'm Charlotte and this is Books and Bargains. Today I'm coming to you with a big festive book video. Now, I've already done Christmas gift guides. These aren't necessarily gifts, but all of these books would make fantastic gifts. These are all my favourite festive reads, and I don't know whether I'm just being fussy this year, but so far this year I've only read 2 festive reads that are going to make it onto this list, which is a bit of a shame. I have 4 piles in front of me. I have Christmas books. Let's say the books of Christmas past. These are books that I have read either last year or before that and have remained on my shelves, which means that they are generally 4 or 5 star books. In that category, I also have some children's books that I read every year and may have already read them this year. I have the books of Christmas present, which are actually only 2 books that I've read in 2021 and loved so much that they will be staying. And then I have the books of Christmas future, which is a small pile of 5 books that I still want to read in December this year. As I've already mentioned in another video, I am saying that my reading year is done in the end of November. So any of those books that I do read will still be in a December wrap up, but won't be included in kind of top 10 of the year lists for 2021. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So let's start with my favourite. These are all children's books, and generally on Christmas Eve I will sit and read this whole stack. The first few I got from charity shops, but the first is How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss, and this is just a beautifully illustrated copy. I then also have the classic Night Before Christmas. This again is really beautifully illustrated. I have Mog's Christmas Calamity, which I've always got a soft spot for Mog, but due to the sad passing of Judith Kerr, I think this year is going to be an even more special read of this book. I also have The Nutcracker, because what is Christmas without a reread of The Nutcracker? So then 2 books that I bought full price myself. The first of these is Pop Classics Elf. Elf is mine and Tom's favourite Christmas film. It is cheesy, it is silly, and we love it. I have already watched it this year, and it is an illustrated copy, so how could you not read that? Then one that I bought this year, I don't know how many of you have heard of Lad Baby, but Lad Baby, Roxy and Mark, I just think they're so funny. I think they're really down to earth, really... They're just good people. And I picked up Greg the Sausage Roll, which is Santa's Little Helper. And again, it's just a funny book about Greg the Sausage Roll. And then a book that was sent to me this year from Book Break. If you saw this week's vlog, you will have already seen this one. And I just fell in love, and that is Robin Robin. If you have Netflix, there is also an animated Netflix version, which I highly recommend a watch. It's about half an hour long, and it's one of those that I watch, that I think I will watch at Christmas. I always watch The Snowman, I always watch We're Going on a Bear Hunt now, but just those lovely little Christmassy cartoons. So this next stack of books, I'm going to try not to ramble too long or we will be here all day. But the first book is Meet Me in London by Georgia Toffolo. Now, I have said on this channel before, I have read and DNF'd Meet Me in Hawaii, and wasn't keen on it. I do have Meet Me in Tahiti on my TBR, but I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up. But Meet Me in London I really enjoyed. This was very much about a vintage clothes designer called Victoria who runs a bar. It's kind of Princess and Pauper type tale where our main character is poor and struggling and she meets a really rich man. But it was very insta-lovey, but I don't mind. And it was just very festive and it was set in London. I've said before on this channel about how I get a bit bogged down sometimes in American fiction and not enjoy it. So yeah, really enjoyed that one. The second one is The Christmas Killer by Alex Pine. I will say that there is a follow-up to this book, The Killer in the Snow, and I did not enjoy that this year. But this I thought was a really good debut, and 12 Days, 12 Murders. It's something a bit different if you're not into the cheesy Christmas stuff, and it still has that festive feel. It has the closed in vibes of a village that gets cut off. Basically, our main character gets a threat on the first day which says that there's going to be 12 murders of people that deserve to die, and he must try and stop this murder before they kill again. I really like that premise of the feeling that we're fighting against time until they kill again. And so I enjoyed that one. The next one I wasn't sure whether to include because I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a slap you in the face with a handful of tinsel book, which you all know by now I love. However, this was a time travel book and I didn't expect that when going in, and I just fell in love with it and can't stop thinking about it. So our main character Ben has always loved December, but this year things have been a little bit rocky in his relationship and he starts thinking about relationships past and Christmases past, and he meets a strange man in the pub who gives him this watch, and lo and behold, the next day he wakes up in Christmas years before. And I really loved this book. It made me cry because he visits these Christmases that he's obviously lived himself but sees things from a totally different perspective, and yeah, really enjoyed that one. Another one from last year is Sarah Morgan's One More for Christmas, and again, didn't enjoy the festive book from Sarah Morgan this year because I didn't feel it was festive enough. But this one I really loved. It's about really estranged families getting together over Christmas. So the mother in this one, I can't think of the name off the top of my mind, is a bit cold-hearted and has wanted to bring her girls up to be strong and not rely on anyone. But when she has an accident at work, she decides that she wants to spend the Christmas with them, and they're both really unsure of how it will go. And what happens, happens. Another is One Family Christmas by Bella Osborne, and this was a very, very festive book. We follow our main character Lottie, who, after losing her nana, decides that she wants to host one more family Christmas in her nana's house before it's sold and get all the family together. It's a big family, each with their own secrets and things going on. So basically chaos ensues, but it's very much, it reminds me of big family Christmases when I lived at home. So I really did enjoy that one. The next is One Day in December by Josie Silva, and this is a dual narrative romance, which if you've watched my channel for a while, you will know is like my favourite kind of romance. I like seeing things from both sides. If you don't like insta-love, you won't like this one, and Haley in Bookland talked about this one, and yes, there is something that does make me a little bit uncomfortable, but I loved it. I listened along with the audiobook of this, and it was the first audiobook I'd ever listened to. And it just gave me all the feels, and I want to reread that one soon. And then my top 3 on my Christmas pass list. First of all is Jamie Adman's The Little Christmas Shop on Nutcracker Lane. Again, wasn't as enamoured by this year's offering, but this one, it was just like a Hallmark Christmas movie wrapped up in a book. Our main character, Nia, always believed that wishes came true on Nutcracker Lane, but this year is set to be the last of Nutcracker Lane, with the owners of the factory nearby set to sell it off. Like everything in the world, it has gone from being such a magical place to every year not quite living up to the year before, so she's determined to save Nutcracker Lane. And then this year she knocks over a giant nutcracker and meets the decoration shop's owner James, who looks suspiciously like Prince Charming, and this book was just so full of magic that I had to include it here. And the next of these is Miracle on Christmas Street by Annie O'Neill. Our main character arrives to her new house on Christmas Street and just wants to kind of get her head down and not really engage with anyone, until she finds out that because there are 24 houses on this street, they all take part in an Advent celebration. So each day the house of that number does an activity for the rest of the street. And this was really great in the way that there's some characters that I really changed my mind about throughout the book, and there's different perspectives, and it's kind of telling you not to judge people. There is a guy who they think is a bit of a Scrooge, but as we get to know him and his story, it's all just festive and absolutely wonderful. And last but not least on the books of festive past is Jenny Bayless's The 12 Days of Christmas. 12 Dates of Christmas, sorry. This was bloody fantastic. I thought this was the most festive book I've ever read. Our main character signs up, much to her dismay, on her friend's. Her friend runs a dating app, and they're doing this 12 Dates of Christmas, where on every date they will meet up with a new date and do something festive. And I just thought that was such a unique idea. And yeah, really loved it. It was really festive. All the things they do, like cocktail making and basically anything that you can think of that you'd want to do in the run up to Christmas, our main characters do in this. And now on to the books of Christmas present, and the two books that I have loved so far this year. The first of these being Every Day in December by Kitty Wilson. As I've said in a lot of videos, I'm making Victoria read this, and now I'm really, really nervous because no, this is not Victoria's thing, but it is between Bristol and Bath and has Shakespeare. So if I'm ever going to get Victoria to read a Christmassy contemporary book, it's going to be this one. Our main character Belle is... This is a very sunshine, misery romance, because our main character Belle absolutely loves Christmas, loves everything about it. She's a big child at heart, sounds a lot like me, and Rory finds Christmas really hard and just doesn't want to get involved. And obviously, as the two of them get to know each other, things go down. And then the last of these is Stay Another Day by Juno Dawson. You will know by now that I absolutely love Juno Dawson. She is a fantastic author, and this book is no exception. It's a bit different to most Christmases because there is so much representation. There is queer, non-binary. There is also mental health rep in this, big trigger warnings for eating disorders. But I loved the way that this book portrayed a family that wasn't just perfect at Christmas. I think we get really wrapped up in the Christmas season that everything should be perfect, and this showed that it's not always like that and followed these quite complex characters. Let me just read you what it says on the back, because this is what drew me in. It says, with only 4 sleep still Christmas, 3 secretive siblings, 2 hot house guests and 1 juicy secret, this Christmas there will be some big surprises under the tree. And I really enjoyed that. And then last but by no means least, the books of Christmas future. These are 5 books that have all been released this year, and I still want to get to them before the year's out. The first one of these is The Winter of Second Chances by Jenny Bayless, and I did start reading this one and I couldn't get into it. But then I was very kindly sent a copy by Book Break, and I thought, you know what, maybe I should give it another go. This, I've just seen Aoife from Words of Clover review this, and she has said that she really liked the idea that it was an older main character, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading that. Another author that I'm giving another chance to is Karen Swann. I DNF'd one of her books last year and Jilly has never forgiven me for it, so when I got sent this one by Book Break as well, this is Midnight in the Snow, and yeah, gonna get into that one. I also have Isla Gordon's A Winter in Wonderland, and this says, will the magic of Lapland help Mila fall in love with that festive feeling? I have read a few books set in Lapland this year that I've been kind of on the fence about. The Sarah Morgan one, for a start, I was about 40% in and it just wasn't giving me the Christmas feels. Jamie Adnam's new book I really enjoyed, but there was some bits that made me really uncomfortable. If you haven't seen my November wrap up, that's the place to find out about that. And so yes, I want to give this a go. And in this one, it's Mila who's the world's least festive person, so we will see how that goes. So I'm going to level with you on this one. This next one, I literally bought because of the sprayed edges. I pre-ordered this from Waterstones, and this is The Christmas Carols, A Fantastically Festive Family. It is blurbed by Dame Jacqueline Wilson, so I think I'm going to love it. And so, yeah, I'm going to get into that one. And then last but by no means least is an early Christmas present from my husband. And again, it has gorgeous sprayed edges. And that is Midnight in Everwood by Emme Kuznier. What can I say? I've really gotten into fairy tales this year. And this is a retelling of the Nutcracker. And it's set in Nottingham, which is my next city along. So, again, I don't tend to get too much into blurbs until I've read them, so I'm sorry I can't tell you more about these ones. But I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have, please give me a like and subscribe below. I really appreciate any comments and likes, especially at the moment when there are so many Vlogmas videos out, that I really thank you for giving your time over to Books and Bargains. Next week you should be getting a... Where are we now? This is the 12th. I've still hopefully got some really excited videos coming up. I've got my booktube reflection. I've got books that I've pre-ordered for next year. I've got my top books of 2021. So yeah, please stay tuned for more from Books and Bargains. And like I've already said, I hope you are having a fantastic month no matter what you celebrate. So until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.